What's up, Internet? Welcome to Once Over. I'm Kaylee, and today we are going to be giving the once over to Shallow Hal.
Yeah.
There will be spoilers.
Give it a good once over.
Giving us the once over. Giving him the once over.
Give me a once over.
Down to give us the once over.
For a routine once over.
Once over.
Oh, just once over lightly.
Getting shallow with it. Na 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 na. Na 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 na. Getting shallow with it. I don't know why I've been singing that all day. It's just the thing. Could you guys hear my voice shaking when I sang it? I'm nervous to talk about this movie for no stupid reason. I think I was more nervous to sing in front of you. But let's actually get into it. So Shallow Hal is what happens when the Farrelly Brothers say, what if personal growth came from hypnosis and a questionable use of fat suits? In this movie, Jack Black plays Hal, a guy so shallow that he could drown in a kiddie pool, and he sort of almost gets tossed from one, I guess, a little bit. After an encounter with Tony Robbins, yes, that Tony Robbins, Hal is hypnotized into seeing other people's inner beauty. Which sounds wholesome enough until you realize that this movie was made in 2001 when inner beauty still came with a laugh track.
Sweetie, are you okay?
Oops. The movie opens up with a young Hal in an ICU, and right out the gate, we get a cameo from Molly Shannon, which seems like great news, right? Shannon plays Hal's mom, who finds out that her husband, Hal's dad, is dying.
I think I'm gonna go send little Hal in now.
And we get some good old gibberish.
Did you see the cowboy? The cowboy who gave me the singing nickel and pudding towel?
Okay, think it's time to turn down the morphine trip.
This is honestly, and I guess sadly, the funniest part of the movie. And also, Molly Shannon gets like pretty much nothing. She does nothing. There's a lot of weird cameos in this. We'll get into that later. Hal's dad gives him some deathbed advice, including,
You'll never, ever settle for average.
don't have routine poontang, and find yourself a classic beauty with perfect cans and great tatas.
I just wish I had sweet can.
Dad's dying words are young, hot tail, which, I don't know, am I supposed to be grieving or giggling here? It is a rom-com, so I guess giggling? I don't know. We get a cool transition from seeing Hal as a child into adulthood, which again gives me hope for this 2000s rom-com. And then boom, we get hit right in the face with Jason Alexander wearing a shitty toupee in a nightclub doing a second-rate George impression.
Things are going in the shitter real quick.
Alexander's character, Mauricio, is Hal's best bud and tail-chasing partner. We'll get into why that's funny a little bit later. But we seriously may as well call him George because he truly is just doing a George Costanza impression. First, he does the whole, I'm gonna break up with any girl that is imperfect in any way kind of thing.
And I noticed that her second toe is like half an inch longer than her big toe.
But sometimes the toe next to the big toe gets so big that there's like a power struggle, and the second toe assumes control of the foot.
The coup d'etat.
And then later, oh, god dang it, I have a note here that says the word comeback in quotation marks. I'll insert his other Georgism here later.
At least I have a bigger willy.
Yeah, bigger than a mouse's.
You can't come back with a comeback after 8 seconds. You got 3 seconds, 5, tops. I mean...
Well, the jerk store called. They're running out of you.
Oh yeah, and Mauricio, does he invent the word cankles in this movie?
Ankle. She's got no ankles. It's like the calf merged with the foot. Cut out the middleman.
I literally just looked it up, and this is actually where that word came from. I mean, maybe not like where it came from, but what popularized the word cankles. I literally have in my notes right here, is this the origin of the word cankles? And I was right. 2001 was a fun year, y'all. Also, I have cankles. I know that I'm not a big fatty in a big fat suit, but I have no delineation between my calf and my ankle, which is the definition of cankles. It's just all one size.
What?
Flash forward into Hal's job, where his boss passes Hal over for a promotion, and his coworkers, played by Kyle Goss and Laura Keitlinger, they do almost nothing.
She doesn't mean anything by it. She's just saying you're not that good looking.
Almost nothing. We have Kyle Goss, for Christ's sake. This was like right on the cusp and precipice of Tenacious D being huge, right? Seriously, none of the cameos in this movie are worth a dime. Molly Shannon had no funny lines, Kyle Goss is wasted, and Laura Keitlinger did nothing. It was very disappointing. My memory of this movie, the first time that I saw this movie was in theaters, and I remember laughing a whole bunch. I don't know that I had that same experience on Rewatch here. Maybe we could have done better. I don't know. This does bring us into the biggest cameo of the movie, which is the motivational speaker Tony Robbins playing Tony Robbins.
Hey, it's you. You're the TV guru guy.
Hal and Tony get stuck in an elevator together, and Tony learns that Hal is just a little bit shallow.
Hal, don't you think you're being a little bit shallow here in the way you look at women?
He said the line! Yeah! While in the elevator, they skim over a philosophical argument here about if Hal would prefer to have one breast or half a brain.
Ooh, toughie.
And I actually think that's an interesting philosophical question. No? I don't know how you guys feel about that, but for sure one breast is the answer. Right in the middle.
How's the remaining breast? Is it big?
Comically large, just really big, silly, large one breast. For sure. I like my brain. It does things like help me function sometimes. Tony decides that Hal is
only going to see what's inside them.
There's nothing to be afraid of, except that fog that turns people inside out.
from now on. To complete the hypnotism of Hal and make him less shallow, Tony preaches over him.
Can you think of one specific time where you're really shallow?
Oh, yeah. I got one.
Think about that. Ready? Devils, come out!
And now, unstuck from the elevator, Hal enters into the real world, immediately encountering a beautiful girl. According to him, anyways, the cab driver that sees both of them seems a little skeptical. Hal thinks that Tony's preaching just gave him more confidence, and that's why he's able to pull all these girls now. But anyone who knows the plot of this movie knows that really he is now seeing the inner beauty of girls for the first time, which means that he is hitting on uggos, which is why they're more interested in him. Great job, 2001. Also, I think we're going to do a little bit of a rating of all the girls in this movie in both their beautiful and ugly states. We'll get into that later, which I guess honestly is pretty shallow, right? Shouldn't the point of this movie be to ignore what a person looks like, not to turn them even hotter if they're nice? I think we can all agree that something feels a little off about this movie. I don't know, I'll be honest that the plot of this movie does not offend me, but I know that a lot of people, including Gwyneth Paltrow herself, who plays the main love interest in this film, really, really hated the idea of this film and how un-PC it was. What did we call it back then? We didn't call it PC. I don't know. Whatever we were saying in 2001. Cankles. Whatever. Don't worry, though, because they are going to double down when Hal and George Costanza go back to the nightclub, and every hottie that Hal sees is actually an ugly weirdo.
What in the name of all that is holy? Sweet, fancy Moses.
Hal had
beer goggle laser surgery.
I do feel a little bit bad for the actresses who got cast as like the ugly girls in this movie. Like, congratulations on your new role in a Farrelly Brothers movie, but also, are you okay? The whole plot gets solidified when Hal first sees Rosemary, played by Gwyneth Paltrow, who honestly deserves a medal for wearing a fat suit with a straight face, and also not suing everyone involved in this film. Like I said, she's still pretty salty about her role in this film, but she does do a really good job. I mean, as good of a job as you can do in this kind of a movie. Hal falls in love with her outer beauty, or his perceived version of her outer beauty, and he tries to woo her by saying that she is making a sailboat with a giant pair of panties that she's trying to buy.
Building the parachute?
Excuse me?
Which, first of all, panties that size do not exist in stores, but it did make me wonder how the 1,000-pound sisters actually buy underwear.
I wash myself with a rag on a stick.
Also, this pickup line would not work on anybody, ever, right? Don't comment on my underwear before we've even kissed.
I guess I'm not real smooth sometimes.
Please. Unless I've asked you to, in which case do it.
Hey, you recognize these panties?
He somehow manages to woo her with this sailboat line, and the two of them go to a restaurant where she eats all the things.
Can I get a double pizza burger, chili fries with cheese, and a large chocolate milkshake?
Hal keeps calling her thin because that is how he sees her, and he basically thinks that she has like really severe body dysmorphia that has made her self-image super duper off. He even does the cuckoo, cuckoo line. Do you remember when everybody was doing that all the time?
Stop it! Stop it! Warren, Melvin, Gary, Dot, Gordy!
Thank God that that hasn't come back. I just recently was in Boston with Who Are These Podcasts, and one of our servers just kept saying Coolio, and I kind of feel like I want to bring that back, but I don't want to bring cuckoo back. She's crazy. The restaurant scene concludes with her chair breaking and Hal consoling her.
Be embarrassed. Listen, I beef it. Everybody beefs it.
Which means that the two of them are standing very, very close together. So wouldn't he feel her chubs here? Like, I know that he sees her as beautiful, but he still has, like, arms and, like, the sense of touch, right? And it turns out that Rosemary's dad is actually Hal's boss's boss, the head honcho of his company.
My boss's name is Steve Shanahan.
That's my father's name.
We gotta intertwine everything. So Rosemary is a good person, which is why he sees her as beautiful, but she also kind of like nags Hal a little bit.
Huh. Never read that book.
What book?
Things losers say.
Which he ends up really enjoying. The two go to a children's hospital where Rosemary regularly volunteers, and we get introduced to Nurse Peeler, played by Nan Martin.
Cal came home.
Who is a total buzzkill, and yet another underutilized cameo.
Pack it up.
As Hal and Rosemary's relationship starts developing, we get a little montage where they go canoeing, and where she makes a huge splash at the pool, which results in a kid getting launched into a tree. That's probably like one of the most famous scenes from this movie, right? It did lead me to two questions though. One, with how much that jumping board is like slanted, how the fuck did she get that much leverage to make that big of a splash? And two, how has it gone this long without anyone just flat out saying to Hal, she is a fatty? Why did we, it doesn't make any sense, does it? I'm gonna have to suspend my disbelief. The two end up getting even closer and they end up banging, and we get to see his vision of her undressing. And I'm sorry to disappoint, fellas, but that is a body double, not actually Gwyneth Paltrow's real body.
Well, I could squeeze him. That's real enough for me.
But again, I need to ask, how does he not feel her body when they are banging? Hypnosis is only so effective, right? I mean, I would argue that it's probably not at all effective, but it can't be that effective.
That sounds like a bunch of new age ooey.
Hal starts getting noticed more at work, and his coworkers think that it's because he is sympathy banging the boss's fat daughter, but he thinks that he just hit the jackpot and he's succeeding at work and he has this beautiful, beautiful girl. Rosemary and Hal go on a double date with Hal's tail-chasing buddy who has spina bifida and his chickie poo who turns out to be Nurse Bitchface.
Oh, what a surprise.
This is when we find out that Nurse Bitchface is actually hot, but the hypnotism works both ways.
It's actually a very funny story.
So, like, if you're a good person, then you look pretty. If you're a bad person, then you look ugly. This gets reinforced when we are introduced to Rosemary's ex-boyfriends.
You remember Lee Boy?
So they are actually ugly, but because they are good, helpful guys who are in the Peace Corps, they look really hot. They seem like they are hunky man meat.
Anyway.
I mean, I guess it makes sense. We're seeing inner beauty, right? In addition to that, there's something that I did find a little bit awkward. I mentioned that Hal and Rosemary go to the children's hospital, right? And it turns out that all of the kids that Hal thinks are super duper adorable are actually burn victims. And yeah, that's maybe not my favorite usage of looking at inner beauty. And we can't forget that at one point there's this hostess in a restaurant who's like hot, but then actually it's a dude that looks like Betty Rubble.
I was just talking to the hostess.
Right. That would be me.
No major plot surprises here. Hal ends up getting promoted at work now that he's dating the boss's fat daughter, causing his friends to get jealous and also suspicious. And Hal and Rosemary have some ups and downs because he refuses to believe that she isn't a hottie boom body. She's maybe a little sensitive about it, no? But George, thinking that he's helping because he thinks that Hal has gone insane and is seeing all these girls that are really ugly as beautiful, he ends up going to Tony and asks what the hell is going on. Tony explains the hypnotism of Hal and that
the brain sees what the heart wants it to feel.
Fucking cop-out. But what is more of a cop-out is the way to dehypnotize Hal. George has to say to Hal, Shallow Hal wants a gal.
gal.
Dude, The Farrelly Brothers literally made us Kingpin, Dumb and Dumber, There's Something About Mary, Me, Myself, and Irene. And the best line that you could come up with here is Shallow Hal wants a gal? Suck it, dudes. You could do better. Something weirdly fascinating about this movie is that even though we get to see Gwyneth Paltrow waddling around in a fat suit for most of the runtime, we don't actually get a full face reveal until basically the end of the movie. I can't figure out if this was because of the effects budget being blown on casting 2 actors for every single role, one hot one and one ugly one, or if it is because even with 200 pounds of prosthetics, Paltrow just still isn't that ugly. The woman could fall into a vat of gravy and still be able to sell $200 vagina candles through her company Goop, because that's how beautiful she is. When we do finally get the face reveal, it's kind of disappointing. Like, don't make me wait an hour and a half for her to not have some sort of like weird mole or like goiter.
Did you say goiter? What? What goiter?
So now with Hal's hypnosis reversed, he can start to see what everybody else is seeing, and he realizes that all these hotties are not so hottie. Which brings us to the least exciting reveal in the entire film, when a hot girl named Katrina turns out to be slightly less hot.
It's me, Katrina!
I mean, she's fine. It's just like her teeth that blow, right? I don't know. I just didn't feel like this was different enough. Am I insane? Since I'm the one being shallow now, let's get into rating the chicks of this movie. Okay, so the hot version of Katrina is played by Brooke Burns. I think that we can all agree that she is a super duper hottie. Do you guys remember that TV show that she used to do, Dog Eat Dog? I used to love that. I loved dumb, stupid reality shows. That probably would have been right around the same time that this came out, actually. But she's stunningly gorgeous, 10 out of 10, easily. And then the ugly version of Katrina is not ugly. She's just like a very average looking girl. She has beautiful facial structure. I think she's gorgeous. Her head is maybe a little bit oddly shaped. And again, her teeth aren't doing great. But I would give her a solid 8. Yuck. Style this girl up. Make her saucy. She's all that, this bitch. That's the only problem with her, is that she didn't get she's all thatted. All right, now let's get into the dancing girls. I would give them all 10 out of 10s. They look absolutely lovely, right? Skinny, very 90s, very, very 90s. But they look great. I will say the one with the curly hair, maybe not my style, maybe not my favorite, kind of, maybe she gets a 9. And Bangs Magoo over there, actually, let's give her a 9 too. Of course, when we find out their ugly selves, these guys were one of the reverse ones. So they're actually ugly, but they look hot. Okay, so that's the not reverse one. I don't know how this movie works. It doesn't matter. Let's get back to the ratings. Curly hair girl. I'm pretty sure that this is the same actress. I feel like I read that somewhere. It's the same actress who plays both the hot and the not hot version. They basically just like give her like funkier hair, right? Maybe she gets a mole on her face, or is that the middle one? I don't even know. She's not any uglier. She's just not styled up and primped up for the club. So she still gets a 9. All right, and then Bangs. Miss Bangs over here. All right, she got uglier. She is very thin in her ugly state. Very, very thin. Doesn't have a lot of curvature. Not my thing. And she's a little goofy looking. She also plays into it really well, so that makes her much uglier. I think that we're going to have to give her a 5. 5 out of 10. And then the last girl, of course, who I think is arguably the hottest of the 3. Yeah, she's the fatty. I am not into fat chicks. So, 3. This is the most judgy, horrible thing that I've ever done in my life. Why did I think that this was going to be a good idea? We can't talk about Shallow Hal without doing this, right? That's the whole dang point of the movie. All right, next up we have Nurse Peeler, aka Nan Martin. I love her. I actually think that she's really, really stunningly gorgeous. She kind of aged to me in the same way that like Helen Mirren did. I think she's still super saucy and hot, even as the old little badass bitch. So I'm gonna call her hot as fuck, even in her ugly state. I'm gonna give her a solid 9.
Yuck.
She's not perfect. She's not Brooke Burns, but she's gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. And she's funny. That gives a lot, right? I do see the inner beauty. And then the hot version of Nurse Bitch Magoo. Why is everybody Magoo today? The hot version of the nurse Not for me, actually. I would probably put her at an 8. Ooh, you guys all disagree with me. It's fine. I am, again, not a huge fan of the bangs. If you're gonna bangs, you gotta really be able to bangs. Like, you know who can do bangs? Natasha McElhone? She can pull off bangs. She's got the bang situation down. I'm into her. She's great. But yeah, this girl not doing it for me. She also has like the very thick cheeks. Thick cheeks. I am saying that and I'm just realizing that all of you are judging me right now. So let's make fat version of Kaylee right here. Yeah, okay. That makes me feel better about being a giant bitch.
That's a huge bitch.
And of course, we have to talk about the hostess who starts out as a woman and then turns into a man. In her hot state, she looks kind of like, she has like the Uma Thurman, like in Pulp Fiction sort of vibe to me. And then in her ugly state, she's literally a man. We're comparing a man in drag to a woman here is what we're doing because we are talking about Shallow Hal. I think that we can all agree she's absolutely beautiful in her hot state. Not exactly my type, so I'm going to give her a good solid 8. She's pulling it off, man. He's a perfectly reasonable looking human who is 2.
Yuck.
I'm trying to be nice. I swear to God, Betty Rubble. That's all I can say. It's because of the dress. And before we rate Gwyneth Paltrow herself, I guess that we actually need to rate the guys in this movie also, right? Because the boys also have their transformations. All right, so first one is the Lil boy. I can't remember what his name is in the movie. Hot version, not for me. This is not my type of dude at all. I am gonna go ahead and give that a 3. I don't like men that look like this. And then for the ugly version, I already mentioned I'm not super into fat chicks. Also not super into fat dudes, so we're gonna go ahead and stick with a 3. No difference for me. Feels exactly the same. And as for Rosemary's other ex-boyfriend, same exact thing. I don't really see a huge difference between like the hot hunky version and the not hot version. I would say maybe like hot version a 4 and then ugly version a 3. All right, we gotta rate Gwyneth Paltrow. She is in her natural, beautiful state, a 10 out of 10. I think she's gorgeous. I think that she is one of the most beautiful women in Hollywood, only second to Jennifer Aniston. I think she's insane, but she's gorgeous, and I cannot criticize that. And I think that as her fat version, she actually looks really, really good. So as I've already mentioned, not really into the fat stuff myself, which is fine. I'm allowed to have opinions. Everybody has their tastes. I'm not saying that it's not for everyone, but I think she actually looks really nice in her fat version. I would give her a solid 5 or 6. I would go with 6.
Yuck.
I'm going with 6. I think she looks beautiful. I don't think that she looks that bad. And you see her butt when she's like in the swimsuit, and it doesn't even look like that fat. Like, I think that she's quite beautiful. Her body double is quite beautiful in the booty. That was a horrible bit. I don't know why I decided to do that. You guys all hate me now, don't you? Let's get back into the movie and talk about where the movie actually takes a tailspin for me, because Hal and George get into an argument about reality versus happiness. So George the whole time thinks that he's helping Hal by seeing what these girls actually look like. And honestly, this is a really great discussion to have. If a tree falls in a forest of ugly chicks, do I want to know how ugly they are, or do I just want to enjoy the scenery? Very philosophical. But instead, Hal's response to this is like, well, I don't care what other people think. Dude, yes you do. That's literally the entire point of the movie. I didn't feel like he grew into this moment, but rather that they just needed to wrap things up in the film in some dumb way of boringness, and it really pissed me off how they did it. We get a few funny moments as the movie comes to a close, like Hal trying desperately not to see Rosemary in her true form.
I told you it was nasty.
But mostly the movie ends like you would expect a silly rom-com from the early 2000s too. Hal ends up loving every inch or square foot or pound of Rosemary. Yay. The end also features what is probably the most famous aspect of this movie, which is George Costanza's extra appendage.
You believe me now?
A tail, Jerry, a tail. I have to admit that I like the tail. I like how it wags. And I'm not even a dog person.
Did you ever hear the song, Who Let the Dogs Out?
I guarantee you there's some girls out there who would think it was adorable. Like a little puppy dog.
I really should be calling him Mauricio. Also, I was just looking things up for this movie to pull up the hot chick rating stuff. And it turns out that the Farrelly Brothers actually wanted Gary Shandling to play that role. That would have been freaking awesome. I would have way rather seen that. Stupid Jason Alexander always playing George, except for in The Burning, which is a really great horror movie from the 80s, if you guys haven't seen that. He's in it. He's not George at all, but ever since George, he's just George. Stupid Jason Alexander. And that's the movie. But we haven't even gotten to my favorite part of the film yet. It's the end credits. Do you guys remember how the end credits work in this movie? It's like amazing. It's absolutely amazing. Also, after doing a little bit of research, it does look like there's 2 versions. So if you have no idea what I'm talking about, I swear to God, one of the versions has the things that I'm about to talk about, and there will be clips of them right here. But it's really exciting for me. The end credits of this movie are freaking amazing. They feature the whole production crew. And there are like little videos of the production crew members. So like we get to see them at work. So, you know, like the makeup department is over here doing stuff. And then like the casting couch people are sitting on a couch. And like, it's so much fun. I love it so much. Movies never ever feature crew members like this. And it was so cool to be able to see that. I loved it. I thought that that was just absolutely incredible. It was so cool to like put faces to all of the behind the scenes people in the film. I don't think I've ever seen another film that has done that. And it was like, it blew me away. It blew me away. That was the best moment of this movie, far and away for me, which is so sad to see. Oh, we also get to see the spina bifida dude. We get to see him like skiing and stuff, and it's so sweet and it's adorable.
Hey kid, how about these Rozzy boots? They fit like a glove or what?
I love it. I love it so much. Also, there is a post-credit scene with the spina bifida dude, that's fine. I don't really care either way. What I love is just them featuring the crew. It is so cool. That was like amazing. Absolutely amazing. Great credits. Probably the best credits of all time, actually. That's a whole big debate, isn't it? I don't even think that I can get into that right now, but they are up there. So I think that you can probably tell that I was not a huge fan of this movie upon rewatch, which was really disappointing because I loved it when it was in theaters. It's not funny. Why am I just sitting around waiting for comedy in this comedy film? It's not funny. The characters don't have good arcs. It just kind of randomly throws in like, Hal is great again. And like, I expect better from the Farrelly Brothers. I know that they've done some garbage. Like, the live action parts of Osmosis Jones, Peace, Stuttering John. And I know that they've done some other trash. I really liked their Three Stooges, actually, but they also gave us Kingpin, for fuck's sake, and Dumb and Dumber. Like, these guys are great, and they just really, this was not their stride. They missed the mark on comedy when it came to Shallow Hal. It was too much filler, too many characters, duplicate characters that weren't even that different in their hotness scales, and I don't know, it didn't make me do the laughing. I always get disappointed when in a comedy movie I don't have the same experience that I had with it when I first watched it and I thought that it was hilarious. But I guess that we all grow into movies in different ways. And that is one of the best things about film, is that we get to all enjoy it in different ways. So I am glad that I rewatched this, especially for the end credits. But I will say that I will probably not be watching this one again for many, many years. I wouldn't even call this a good mindless movie, which I like. I like a good mindless movie at the end of the night after a rough day. I like stuff like this. I'm not reaching for this one. Give me Rob Schneider over this.
And now Rob Schneider is a stapler. And he's about to find out that being a stapler is harder than it looks.
Jack Black. He was fine also. He wasn't that funny. And they wasted the damn cameos. Best part, end credits. And George Costanza's tail. Great job on those two things. So I guess with all of that being said, I need to rate this movie, which feels wonderful because we are getting to be as shallow as we want to be. And I am going to rate this very low on my scale of 7 thumbs up. I am going to give this only a 3 out of 7 thumbs up because it was poop. It was a poopy poop movie. I didn't like it. I don't think I laughed a single dang time. That's disappointing. I wanted to like it. I'm being whiny now so that you guys can all judge me. Don't forget to leave your judgments, both of the movie and of me, since I've been a giant asshole, in this little comments below. I can't wait for that. Thanks in advance. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't already done that. I appreciate you guys all hanging out with me for this lovely little review of 2001's Shallow Hal, and I will see y'all soon. Bye.